She flips the phone face down. No observations. She keeps it very still in her hand. The screen stays off when I step closer. Saturday brunch. The server sets down coffees. A black card slides from her clutch. Gold initials AR catching light. Fancy, he says. She palms it fast. I say, what's that? She says, a surprise for you. Her smile stays, her eyes don't. She reaches for the bill and pays cash, which she never does. A florist's call flashes across her screen. She kills it with one thumb and places the phone face down. I say, noted. I let the pause stay where it landed. The couple at the next table goes quiet and watches the space between us. She texts under the table, elbows tucked in, shoulders high. The black card disappears back into her bag like it never existed. She says, don't overthink it. I slide my chair back. She leans closer than usual, almost blocking the aisle. She says, trust me? I say, I heard you. The server asks anything else. She answers before I do and says we're all set. I stand. She stands slower, then faster, then smooth again. Behavioral tell. She says one quick errand after this. I say I'll drive. Her mouth lifts on one side like it's all going to plan. Power sits with her story, for now. We walk out together, and I keep the timing in my pocket. The party shop hums with helium hiss and taped guns. I hold the door. She goes straight to the counter like she's been here twice already. The clerk lifts a ledger, finger on a line. He says your deposit doubled this morning. She laughs quick, too quick for math. She says we added a few touches. A girl with glitter on her sleeves pops up beside her. The friend. She bumps my wife's shoulder and says we got you, then looks down at the sticker rack like it's a script. Two moms near the register pause their chat and glance over. I step in beside them. I say need a receipt. She says later. It ruins the surprise. She never passes on receipts. Last week she argued for points on gum. The clerk shrugs and folds the ledger closed. He asks color scheme. She slides her bag open, a corner of black card showing gold. She taps the edge and says black with warm metal. The initials AR flash before she palms it and drops it deeper. I say noted. I take out my card. The clerk reaches. Her hand gets there first. She blocks my card with her wrist, smooth, practiced. From a new envelope she pulls crisp bills, banded tight like they never touched a wallet. The friend nods like it's all normal. The clerk counts out loud, slower than needed. The moms pretend to browse ribbons and keep listening. Spending shifts to her lane without asking. I ask again, quieter. I say receipt still helps. She says I'll send it later. No eye contact. The friend says don't worry, we're covering some pieces. She says we, but her bag is the one getting lighter. The clerk hauls a box of candle holders and tries for small talk. He says big night? She says Saturday, dress sharp, to me, not him. I say I'll clear Saturday. She says good. It sounds like rehearsal. She points at a roll of ribbon, then changes it mid-sentence. She says no, the satin, not organza. Contradiction to last month's tight budget, and keep it simple. The friend scribbles a number on a sticky and slides it across. The clerk tucks it under the register with the ledger like there's a backstage. A latex balloon snaps behind us. The friend flinches, then smiles too wide. I glance at my wife's phone lit face down in her palm. A new group chat bubbles on my screen at the same time. Long table tonight. Her friend added me without asking. 8 p.m., same place as always. I look at her. She looks at the clerk. Micro choices stack like cups. I shift a step closer. Private voice under the shop noise. I say RSVP me for tonight. She says already did. I say good. She says we'll sit center. The friend's eyes flick to me, then away, like checking weather. The clerk bags the pieces and thanks her by first name. He thanks the friend too. He doesn't say mine. She hands me one light bag and keeps the heavier two. Power leans their way for now. I let it. I hook a finger under her strap to help. She pivots, avoiding the handoff, then remembers and smiles at nothing. Behavioral tell. At the door, a kid lets his balloon skid my shoe. I lift it back by the string and hand it to him. The mom says sorry. I say no problem. My wife watches the mom watching us. She says trust me, you'll like this. I say I heard you. Outside, I calendar block Saturday at 7 and watch her phone buzz once. She taps accept without looking up. The envelope rattles in her bag and the black card rides on top like a title. We head to the car. Dinner's next, and I keep the seat at the center of the table open. Her circle filled the long table, coats on chair backs, menus like shields. The black invitation card lay face down by her plate, gold AR catching light at the edge. She set her hand on it when I glanced. The server poured water. 2 of her friends watched the card, not me. I stepped to the corridor to answer nothing. Around the corner, her friend said he thinks it's for him. Another voice shushed her. A napkin snapped. No argument, just that small scramble. Chairs scraped when I returned. I sat, leveled my fork, looked at her. I said date and time. She kept her eyes on the wine list and said Saturday at 7, trust me. The friend on her left laughed too quick. A guy across from me said don't ruin it, before she could say more. Behavioral tell. I reached for bread, not the card. Phones flipped over down the line, screens dark. The waitress asked about starters. The table overordered like noise could cover it. She adjusted the card back to center, then aligned the knives and didn't look up. Contradiction on a plate. I said I'll block the calendar. She nodded once. Someone asked about the game. Loyalty slid inside glances, small check-ins that went around me. I let the pause stay where it landed. Under the table, I texted her sister, see you there? My phone buzzed a yes with a winking emoji. A second later, her shoulders rose a notch. Her phone lit, then flipped face down again. She said this will be good for you, and finally met my eyes for half a beat, then passed me to the server. I didn't bite. I lifted my glass and asked the server for still, not sparkling. Her friend started a news story and used my name to keep me in it. I listened, didn't add. The black card stayed face down, but everyone at our end knew the initials. I slid my chair in tight and checked the clock. Saturday at 7 was set. Tomorrow's coffee would clarify the guest list. We hit the coffee line together. Her sister slid in first and hugged me like she hadn't seen me in months. She said excited for Alex Rivera's relaunch on Saturday. My wife paused half a beat, hand still on her tote. Which Alex? I said. Her sister tapped the black card in my hand. Gold AR catching the overheads. She said old mentor. The barista with the headset glanced over, then the other one stopped tamping. 2 heads up, 2 names registered. The room took a quiet breath and kept moving. My wife reached for the card. I let it stay between my fingers a second, then set it flat on the counter. She said it's still for you. I said I like knowing the guest list. Power moved without noise. Her sister stood on my side of it, elbow light on my shoulder, already swiping her phone like she had a link to show me. The barista asked names for the cups. Her sister gave all 3, used my last name. My wife ordered a double espresso, no sugar. She always says caffeine after noon is a bad idea. The barista cocked a grin and said big weekend? My wife said busy, and pulled a new envelope from her bag, cash again. The register beeped, the tip jar clicked. Contradictions stack best when people are watching. Her sister tilted her screen. A story post with AR in gold, Saturday at 7, location tagged. She said they opened late tickets, Alex will be happy. My wife slid the card off the counter to her palm, then back to me, tight, as if that made it even. She said we're going together, don't overthink it. I said together works. The headset barista leaned in at pickup, said heard AR is doing speeches early, you should be on time. That floated to the couple behind us. They pretended not to listen. Loyalties adjusted by proximity. Her sister asked if she should loop me into the plan. My wife hesitated a blink too long. Add me, I said. Her sister nodded and tapped. My screen buzzed once. A new thread, her name already pinned to the top. We stood off to the side with our cups. My wife smoothed the sleeve on mine and didn't look up. She said you'll like it? I said we'll see it clean. She swallowed that and checked the door. I pocketed the AR card against my inside lining and stepped toward the exit. We walked out aligned and not matching. Saturday stayed where we'd left it, at 7, in a room with his initials on the walls. Hotel ballroom, cold air on the back of my neck. AR banners everywhere. My name nowhere. She smoothed my lapel like a cue and walked ahead. Staff in headsets tracked her path, not mine. Alex Rivera saw her first. Warm grip, cameras up, flashes quick. He said, glad you made it. She said, it's for my husband. I said, I'll observe. A friend tugged my sleeve, said, come take one. I said, I'm good. Loyalties tilted with the lenses. Our table thinned. 2 of her friends drifted toward Alex like he was the heat source. I watched a server set programs in tidy stacks. I took one. AR relaunch gala across the top. Host committee. Her name, second line. I ran a finger under it, and kept the page open when she looked over. She said, "Don't ruin it." I closed it and slipped it to the edge of the table. The black card pressed against my jacket lining like a reminder. Contradiction kept stacking. She waved off a server trying to seat us and walked straight to the stage manager. She said, "Small changes, quick," hand chopping the run order. The stage manager glanced at me, then back to her clipboard. Her eyes cut to me anyway, checking for a reaction I didn't give. A couple from her circle passed between us. He said, "Alex needs the host." She lifted a hand without thinking. Host landed on her like a title already earned. The friend who tugged me earlier didn't try again. He peeled off toward the VIP rope and didn't look back. I moved to the side of the room, near the audio desk. Clean angle on the stage and Alex's lane. I wasn't in the photos. I was in the line of process. She watched me reposition, jaw set, then overcompensated with a hug for a donor who had just learned her name. Surprise for me, audience for her. The florist from her silence call at brunch had a centerpiece on our table now, deeper red than neutral. Money had left a trail, even the staff followed. I kept my coat on. A server offered to check it. I said, "I'll keep it." Alex worked the semicircle, moving faster once he saw her with the stage manager. He gave me a quick nod on his pass, automatic courtesy. I let it move by. The program sat where I'd left it, face down, edge aligned with the tablecloth. Sound check popped. The stage manager lifted 2 fingers to her. "It's time," she said under the music. My wife touched her lanyard, then the mic stand, then smoothed her dress like a reset. She didn't look at me this time. I stepped closer to stage left, just inside Alex's orbit and out of hers. The lights warmed. The mic waited on its clip. I stayed still and let the next beat come to me. I drifted back to my chair as the room dimmed 1 notch. She stepped into the light, hand on the mic like she'd rehearsed alone. Usually she carried note cards. Tonight her hands were clear. She said, "Tonight is a surprise for my husband, thanks to Alex for partnering." Applause hit on cue. Laughter followed it, practiced easy. The donors at our table raised their glasses toward me. I didn't stand. The black card rode high in my jacket pocket, gold AR catching the wash from the stage. One of her friends clocked it, then looked at her, then back to me. Shifting lines, quick math. She looked down from the riser, found me, and walked a step off the mark to reach the edge. "Stay easy," she said into the side of her smile. I said, "I'm easy." She tapped the mic once like a seal, then squared back to the room. A small thing, but she never taps mics. She talked sponsors, the relaunch, community support. She didn't say my name. She said my husband again. The screen behind her rolled our relaunch gala in a clean serif. The host committee slide slid past with her name centered. The applause came again. It filled the space. Doubt thinned for the room. I let it move through. Alex stood 2 feet from me at stage left, shoulder to pole, watching her cadence like he owned it. I stepped into his ear line. "Timeline?" I said low. He didn't blink. 2-minute toast, sponsor reel, reveal at the top of the hour, he said. He passed me a folded run sheet without looking away from her. I took it, half opened, let the header sit. The paper was warm from his hand. His assistant noticed and then pretended not to. Her friend, the one who had nudged her at the party shop, edged toward the aisle where Alex stood. She waited for someone to introduce her. No one did. A server leaned in with champagne. "For the surprise," he said. I shook my head and he pivoted to the donors behind me. They took 2 each. Loyalties tidy themselves when a tray comes by. She moved to close. She said, "We have so much planned for him tonight," a line she didn't need if the night was mine. Her eyes ran to the stage manager for the next cue. The manager's headset cord tugged when he nodded. I slid the run sheet under my palm and pressed the fold flat. The gold initials on the card flashed once as I stood. Alex's hand twitched toward the microphone stand out of habit, then settled. "Small tells?" She lifted her flute. "To my husband," she said. Glasses lifted around me. I didn't touch mine. I set the run sheet on the hideout beside me, header up, and angled it into the same light as the card. The music bed swelled for the sponsor reel. People turned to the screens. I didn't. I took 1 step closer to Alex's shoulder, calm and clear, and left the next move exactly where he'd have to pick it up. Stage lights softened and the sponsor reel faded to a low wash. I kept the run sheet open, edge square to the high top, the black card aligned beside it, gold initials catching a bead of light. "Read the header," I said. Alex leaned in. He read it out, voice small but mic adjacent. AR Relaunch Gala, hosted by her, proceeds to my firm. The nearest table stopped mid-clink. 2 donors angled their bodies. The stage manager froze with a cue card halfway up. She moved in close enough to shade the papers with her shoulder. Smile stayed. Her hand hovered for the run sheet, then didn't take it. "Just semantics," she said, "it's for you too." "Who's surprised then?" I said. I let the pause sit. Her friend, the bold one, checked her phone like it buzzed. No buzz. Alex glanced left to the screens, then back to her face for direction he didn't get. The host committee line on the program showed her name twice. Once in bold, once in small print. Contradiction in ink. She lifted the mic a touch like she might pivot to a joke. The DJ looked at her for the nod. She didn't nod. A server stopped mid-step with a tray between us and the aisle, waiting to see where the air would move. "Return to the program?" Alex said, not quite asking me. "You should," I said. I slid the card an inch so the gold AR sat under the header. She saw the alignment and blinked slow, then quick. A small tell. She reached for my sleeve, then decided on the stem of her glass instead. Grip tight. Smile still. From the back, a couple of our friends migrated toward Alex. Another friend, hers, stayed planted but kept her eyes on the carpet. Loyalties shifted by inches, visible in shoes and shoulders. I took my phone out and ordered a car to the curb. 2 minutes. No rush in my hand. No need to speak over music. I set my untouched flute on the high-top bass flat, then stepped 1 pace toward the aisle. I didn't look for her answer. I left that space where she'd have to fill it. The aisle cleared in front of me. Cameras flashed behind. I didn't look back. The lobby had colder air and too much lighting. Clusters formed quick. One of our friends matched my pace without speaking. Another, hers, stepped sideways to block the corridor, giving my wife a pocket to regroup. She came fast, then slowed when she saw the staff watching. She said, "Come home, we'll talk." I said, "I'm good." She stepped closer than usual, then remembered the lobby and fixed her distance. A quiet friend murmured, "He's just tired." I let the pause stay where it landed. The valet squared himself. He asked, "Need help?" I took the black card from my jacket, gold AR bright under the downlights, and set it in his hand. I said, "Return to host." He looked at the initials, then at me, and nodded. Behind him the concierge pretended not to listen. Inside the ballroom, Alex thanked donors by category. Applause came in waves. Her circle formed a half ring around her, shoulders turned inward. One friend lifted a hand halfway toward me, then dropped it when she noticed someone's camera. Shifting loyalties traveled by small angles. My wife said, "Don't do this like a show." Her voice stayed low, but it carried. I said, "I'm leaving early, that's all." Her friend's chin tipped toward the doors, like she was ushering guests at a theater. The contradiction sat there. She'd called it a surprise for me. Now she wanted quiet without the room. The driver pulled up. He opened the back door and kept his eyes on the curb. The valet still held the card, then tucked it under his podium like a check. He said, "Your car is here." I stepped in. My phone stayed face down in my jacket. No messages sent. No drafts started. A friend from my side leaned on the frame and said, "Text when you get in." I said, "Not tonight." She nodded once and stepped back. Behind her, my wife held still, then went into motion, whispering to the friend who'd shielded her. They both checked the ballroom doors, not the street. We rolled out slow. The AR glow faded in the rear glass. The program lay on the seat beside me, edges crisp. I left it there. The driver asked destination. I gave him a cross street. He repeated it steady. The hotel doors slid shut in the mirror. I kept my shoulders square and my plans quiet. I kept the night open.